Do you want to know how much sugar is okay for toddlers for them to still be healthy? And to know all the sneaky places where sugar hides? For the best nutrition and feeding advice for toddlers, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. If you're confused or just unsure about how much sugar is okay for toddlers, by the end of this video, you'll know what the limit is and the best ways to reduce sugar for your toddler, as well as some realistic tips on how to incorporate it in a balanced way, because avoiding it altogether is not healthy either. So what are the guidelines? The official guidelines from the American Heart Association state that there should be no added sugar in the first 2 years of life, and less than 25 grams, that's 6 teaspoons, of added sugar per day for children over 2. The reason these guidelines are in place is to prevent young kids from being at a higher risk for excess weight gain, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. Plus, we don't want their taste buds to be accustomed to eating super sweet foods all the time. And particularly for babies and young toddlers, they're in such a crucial growth and development stage, it's really best for as much of their food as possible to be packed with nutrition. This does not mean that you need to avoid all sugar. The sugar that occurs naturally in fruit and milk has a green light. These foods come along with many health benefits, like vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, fiber, and more. So do not feel like you need to limit fruit because of the sugar. Also, the thing that you heard about babies needing to have veggies before they have fruit, otherwise they won't like veggies, that's not true. That's a myth. Or cap. Is that what people say now? Fact or cap? My son would be so embarrassed right now. So you can introduce both fruits and veggies at the same time for babies. Kids do tend to like fruit more, babies, toddlers, that's okay. In contrast, when we talk about added sugar, that's primarily empty calories. That means it does not provide any nutritional benefit and can even prevent your little one from getting all the nutrients they do need from other foods if they're filling up on sugary stuff. So white sugar, brown sugar, corn syrup, raw sugar, coconut sugar, rice syrup. These are all added sugars. Maple syrup and honey do fall into this added sugar category. However, I prioritize them over granulated sugar since they are less refined. They do have some health benefits, although small. But for example, honey is shown to help a sore throat, and there are some trace minerals there. I also personally think that honey and maple syrup add more flavor, so they go a longer way than some white sugar would. What questions do you have about added sugars? Ask them below. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you a few sneaky places where you'll find added sugar that you can try to limit for your toddler. Number 1 is yogurt. The naturally occurring sugar in yogurt is okay. Most flavored yogurts do have a significant amount of sugar added to them, so stick to plain yogurt, sweeten it with fruit, or find either a no added sugar flavored yogurt or one that's low in added sugar, like about 4 grams or less. Bread can be surprisingly high in added sugar, so you want to check the label and look for one ideally that has 2 grams added sugar or less per slice. I do have a really helpful bread guide, so I will link that in the notes below. Granola bars and cereals, even ones that are marketed specifically to baby or toddler, often have more than a teaspoon or 2 of sugar added. I also have a healthy packed snack guide with all products that you can find at Target or your grocery store for your toddler that have about 5 grams of added sugar or less. And you can grab that at the link below if you need some ideas. In general, if you keep packaged items just to maybe once or twice a day, you should be able to stay within that 25 gram daily limit without really worrying about it. For babies and toddlers, it's impossible and unnecessary to try to avoid added sugars completely. Seriously, nothing bad is going to happen when they get a gram or 2 here and there from bread or cereal or a sauce that you made. While you do want to 100% avoid honey for infants under 12 months, even if it's cooked, that's the only type of sugar that needs to be avoided at that time because they can potentially get sick from that. Some days, your toddler might go over that 25-gram limit, and you do not have to be tallying up every gram of sugar that they eat. A piece of birthday cake or a random cookie is a fun thing to enjoy, and that's totally okay to do some days. Though I do recommend holding off until as close to 2 years old as possible. When it's your first child, you usually can avoid frequent treats for longer. They just don't tend to be around them as much or really realize what's happening. But when you have more kids, you'll find that you're at more birthday parties, things like that, and your younger one is gonna be exposed and want to participate. That's okay. When they're under 2, you can give them a smaller portion or do something like give them an empty ice cream cone or plain yogurt with sprinkles if they're feeling left out. Food is social, and you don't need to keep your little one from experiencing treats altogether. It's part of celebrating. That's okay. With treats, it's about finding a balance, not complete avoidance. Some days are gonna be more, other days are gonna be less or not at all. It's not possible to avoid them, and that sets them up to really get obsessed or binge on sweets as they get older if you really try to control it too much. Now, I usually get asked like, well, what are treats that are okay for under 2? And that's exactly why I made my recipe ebook called No Sugar Still Sweet. It has breakfast, snack, treat recipes that use no added sugar. They're sweetened only with fruit for those everyday indulgences. So grab a copy of that. I'll put a link below. It goes into more detail on sugar, where you'll find it, how to easily reduce it. But the highlight is the recipes, y'all. There's over 20 recipes of pure deliciousness. The 2-bite brownies are my absolute favorite. They have beans in them, which you would never taste, no added sugar, you wouldn't even know. If this video is helpful, please let me know. Like it. Make sure to subscribe and share with your partner or your mom and dad friends. I want to help as many families as possible.